dark side of the paranormal with your hosts, June Lundgren and Wendy Stanton. Stay with us as we discuss all things paranormal. Welcome to the dark side.
Welcome to the second half of Ghosts and Girls Paranormal and Northwest Investigative Team Paranormal. It is our ghost adventure.
Norblad Hostel.
The Norblad Hostel Part 2 and
the North Head Lighthouse over in Ilwaco, Washington.
Yay!
Woo!
Summer breeze.
We don't need no stinking
Don't do it.
sound effects, man.
No, nice. Yeah.
So, Wendy did the North Head Lighthouse.
I was very blessed to get to go into a place that the public does not get to go to. I was not so blessed by the EMFs, whether they were visible or they came from that cotton-picking, ginormous junction box. I almost got sick as soon as I walked in the door.
So what was it? Oh, sorry. I'm so used to Paranormal Crossings. I'm so sorry.
So what was it like working with Zach and the crew?
And you were going to ask me.
What was it like when you first came up to that place? What was it like for you as an empath and a psychic and all these other wonderful gifts that you have?
Well, first off, it started last moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was Friday. Got the call, arranged things, talked to June, and I needed to be there Monday. Well, on Saturday, I was with some of my kids. Yes.
You got the call on Friday?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had to be there Monday?
Yep.
Yeah, because they had called me, and I said, "There's no way I can leave." I said, "I have to work. I have nobody to cover me."
Which, incidentally, you are a nurse, registered nurse.
And I'm a commercial insurance agent. Go figure the weirdness of all this stuff.
Exactly.
So I said, "Listen, you got to call my friend Wendy."
My partner.
I said, "Here is the phone number. Call her. She will go with you."
And you know, I've heard since then that like 3 other people had done the same thing. I'm like,
yeah, Jeff.
why?
Jeff did it.
And Nicole.
Yeah.
But
well, and you know, and I talked to you, I think it was that Saturday. Yeah, it was that Friday or Saturday. I can't remember.
was it after my former mother-in-law had passed away?
Yes.
So it was like either Saturday, no, it was Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah.
And you were so nervous and so doubting yourself, as usual, Wendy. And I kept saying, you know what? You are going to do absolutely wonderful. And you were like so worried about letting down the team,
and
letting down June.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, if June felt that you couldn't handle it, she would never have suggested that you go in her place.
And even Heather's
Period.
like, come on, Mom.
Period.
You got this. I'm
Exactly.
like, you know.
Yeah.
And so we all knew you were going to do just fine.
I was
There was
hoping.
no doubt. No doubt.
You know, we were at dinner.
We are our worst critics,
Yes.
first of
Yeah.
all. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we can all attest to that.
Yes.
So,
And
anyways, go ahead.
I was at dinner Saturday night with the kids because my birthday was a couple days before that. And we got to talking about my oldest son, who is very, very close to his grandparents, as in, like, he'll do anything and everything for them, you know. And his younger brother's like, you know, he always has a place when, you know, he's ready to move. And I'm like, not till we lose the grandparents, you know, not as in, like, they're gone. Got a message from Eric that night. Grandma had passed away that very day. So it's like, this is a woman that I had known since the 80s. And she was a believer. We used to talk about that stuff. Very few people in her family knew or believed, and so we always connected on that. And I'm like, I left Monday, and you know, I'm like, okay, Donna, let's go. I'm taking you with me. This has always been our thing. You'd be so excited, and you'd support me. And so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go. So I talked her all the way there. And I got to the parking lot, and your first thought is, you don't know when you're dealing with this. What are you going to pull up, and there are 75 trucks. They've got everything blocked off. They're going to frisk you. You don't know.
Well, you were hoping.
Don't
Get into
touch
position.
me. Yeah, don't touch me. You know, and I was looking for Jeff Davis, and he wasn't there. And I'm like, oh crap, am I in the right place? And so I'm texting him, not aware that he, Zach, and crew are down on the beach filming.
Lena.
Oh no.
I wish he would have said, dude, we're down here, we'll be up there. He didn't tell me.
Right.
I'll beat him for that later. I would not have bothered him if I'd known. So I walked down, and it's like, I just kind of went. It's one of those things, I'm like, I've never been in this area. I know very little about it. Mm-hmm. And so it was raining. It was nasty. It was icky. The wind was, it was awful. And so I finally went back up to the car, and I'm like, okay, so far I'm waiting, and where is somebody? Go back down to the lighthouse and wait. So I went to the lighthouse and waited in the overhang that's about 3-4 inches wide. Had my hood on, and they sent the producer down, and because I didn't want to use everything. Mm. I had asked to be opened up, and as the weekend happened, I was opening up.
Oh, yeah.
Big time. I could feel it, which is part of, I think, why I knew something was going on with Eric's grandparents, because I started opening up. And so it wasn't until we started doing some walk-arounds, Corey and I, the producer, that I just really started letting go. And it was a very solemn place. Like I said, I had not done I haven't checked the history. Right. I still have not gone there. And, he is a very gentle, kind man.
Chris.
And Corey.
Corey.
He doesn't push for anything, which is really neat. None of the group really, if we think about it, they didn't push for, you feel this, right?
No,
yeah,
not at all.
What do you feel?
Right.
How, and so as we're walking down, it's like we went phase and step by step. And the upper part really kind of was creepy to me.
So your first encounter was with Corey?
Yes.
Not the GAC?
No.
Okay. Good.
It was. It's kind of a fun little story, and I probably shouldn't say anything, but I'm going to. I had not been there, mm-hmm. and they had unknowingly thought I had been. Mm-hmm. And so it wasn't until a later point in time that, Zach's like, oh, you hadn't been here? Mm-hmm. He didn't know that. So we kind of broke it up into, here we go, let's tape this. Now you've been there.
Right.
So that way, it wasn't a fib at that point in time. I had been. But when you walk through the upper part, it's almost like you can feel people watching you. Mm. And it's like I, had
because they were.
Exactly. And it's like I was explaining to Corey, he's like, what do you mean? Because he was trying to understand it. He's like, I'm not feeling anything. I said, I can't tell you what century. I can't tell you anything, but here are the feelings that I'm having. Mm-hmm. And I was very honest in the fact it's like, okay, I'm feeling these people heading to the beach, and I cannot tell you at this point in time if it's somebody got in trouble and here you go, you're going into the ocean, or as a lot of the tribes did, they would do sacrifices, whether smallpox was running rampant, we're going to have to sacrifice somebody to try and stop it. Mm-hmm. This happened a lot, but it was not a happy, joyous little trip down to the side of the whole thing. So I felt that, and it made me very sad. I mean, I was having a hard time at one point in time not crying because I could just feel this. It's like, oh, this is just really painful.
Overwhelmed.
Very much so, because you could feel the fear and the sadness and the anger and the frustration. And that doesn't mean that the person was in trouble. That could still mean something was going on in the tribe.
Does it make you feel like you were there at that time? Is that what it's like? Like you're actually present there? Or is it like you're watching a movie and just feeling the emotions?
More like that. It's like I'm walking next to them.
Okay. God, that's got to be overwhelming.
Especially when you're freshly open like I was. And I talked to her, and I'm like, this is really just crazy. She goes, you asked for it.
Yeah. Be
careful what you asked for, right?
But, you're being asked.
You told me that more than once.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I was asked to do something. And I'm not going to go out there and pretend. And I flat out told Jeff, who had done the phone calls to us to set this all up, he's like, I am not a psychic in any way. What was it he said? I'm as psychic as a pole or something like this. He goes, it is so heavy there. I'm like, I don't want to know anything else. But he's right. Mm. It was just so very heavy. And I mean, the centuries. Mm. And if somebody asked me, what tribe? I couldn't tell you what tribe. I couldn't tell you if it was from the 1st century. I just knew that this was, going on.
A lot of layers.
Exactly. And a lot of stuff had happened through there. And so, it's like Corey could see, and like he was very caring. He's like, okay, let's keep going. This is really affecting you. And so we walked further down, and we walked to the lighthouse, and I was totally stoked for that. I mean, how many people get to go? I mean,
That's
really. Awesome. And so the forest ranger came and let us in, and he's got it on tape. I stepped in. I almost got sick on the spot. I mean, my stomach went like this and landed right in my throat. And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I looked at the ranger. I didn't even think. You know how it's like I'm trying to be okay. You don't think it through. And I looked at him. I said, "Do you have a junction box or something in here?" Not even thinking, where are you?
Yeah.
Right? No more than 3 feet behind this gentleman was a door. I didn't even see the door. Opens it, and there's probably a 3-foot tunnel.
Oh, wow.
And I had never been that sensitive to EMS before.
Mm-hmm.
They really hadn't bothered me that much. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's get away from it. Corey's like, let's get you a little further away from it.
It was live?
Yeah.
And is this a functional lighthouse?
Yes, it is functioning. And
I can't imagine
not
how
with
much
candles.
going through that.
That's what I mean. It's like I didn't think about the fact what would be running this light.
Yeah.
They don't have little people up there holding candles.
Right.
Anymore, anyways.
Yeah. So I figured, like Corey said, get me away from it. I'm going to feel better. And these are winding stairs all the way up. Mm-hmm. And not only that, they got more narrow as we went.
You got to the top,
And halfway up, they even left some of it in. I had to sit down.
Yeah.
I was starting to see black. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, I know we're away from the junction box. I said, "But this is getting me."
No, you're not, because where's the energy going to go?
Yeah, but it was more than that. The closer I got, who was waiting for me? The lighthouse attendant.
Yeah. The keeper.
Lighthouse keeper.
Yeah.
The keeper.
But I wasn't thinking clearly.
No,
my brain
not.
was just scrambled eggs, and I get migraines just because I have a head on my shoulders. And it was getting worse and worse. And
because he was tapping into that energy.
He was, and he's yanking me up there, and he's like, Corey goes, "Are you okay? Do you want to stop?" I'm like, "No, we're not going to stop. We're going up." And, we're going up the stairs, and we're getting narrower and narrower, and I'm thinking, okay, good. Oh, we're up here. It's like, let's concentrate. And the dude's right behind me.
And he's ding, 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 ding.
He was angry and frustrated and hurt. He was more hurt than anything. And I'm like, okay, look at this view. This is amazing. I'm trying to just kind of, no. And I just kind of looked at Corey. I said, he's here, right? It's like, oh. The lighthouse keeper, he's here. And I'm looking down, and I'm like, oh my God, that's awful. And I all of a sudden saw people in old clothes, and I can't tell you if what I was seeing was like 1700s or if they were just shredded because they were out in the ocean. I saw these guys pulling themselves up on the rocks in the water and everywhere, trying to get out, and the water would pull some of them back.
Was it from a shipwreck?
Yeah, shipwrecks. And see, I knew nothing about the ship. I knew nothing.
Wow.
There's a lot of them.
And over 2,000, Corey said. And if you think back to my ghost adventure, one of the things they showed were the reenactors climbing the rocks. Yeah. Well, it came from all of that stuff. Yeah.
Which, of course, they didn't explain anything.
Yeah, and they may have a reason. Who knows? Maybe over there, and we just don't know.
Shock factor.
Exactly. And Corey looks at me and goes, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, that was just the most awful thing. And so I told him, and he's looking at me and he goes, "You know what it's called, right?" I'm like, what's called? I'm from Oregon. I've never been here. I mean, I've been to Long Beach, but never here. And he goes, "That's Dead Man's Cove." Wow. I'm like,
happily named.
Okay. And he goes, there have been over 2,000, shipwrecks.
Wow.
I'm like, I had no clue.
Just in you describing this,
you can see it.
I'm seeing it.
Yep.
I'm feeling it.
And it hurts. It breaks your heart.
I'm feeling that my fingers are, I can feel it in my fingers. And the feeling that I'm getting when they're trying to climb.
Can you imagine how cold and numb their fingers are?
There you go. That's her fingers.
And the overwhelming, just
the emptiness, this emptiness, I'm done and I'm sinking, and it's like I literally am seeing myself sinking and bubbles going up, and it's like it hurts so much because you're tapping into someone's experience. Emptiness. Somebody who drowns, I now understand from that, feels utter emptiness.
And the despair.
Exactly.
And the despair.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all the stuff that I was feeling, exactly what she's feeling. Stop tapping in.
I can't. I can't help it.
I know.
I don't have a.
You don't
Joel,
have that
just in case you're wondering, it's kind of so overwhelming right now here that it's brought me to tears because of the feeling that just her describing it. I can feel it. And I don't have a great grasp on that yet.
She's tapping into what I was feeling and seeing.
Yeah, I can feel it in my fingers, and I'm just getting pretty overwhelmed.
And that is an overwhelming feeling, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's happened so many times, And then it's like, we were also talking about the lighthouse keeper, all he's gone through. This poor man put up with being talked about,
After his wife's death.
in general, but his wife died, and rumors ran amok, he did it, she did it, she didn't do it, he didn't do it. Unfortunately, she was out with the dog, and a gust of wind grabbed her and threw her right over the side. I saw her go up and
big,
over.
Big, voluminous
breakdowns
and stuff.
Yeah,
Can you imagine? Can you
I
imagine?
can.
I mean...
it was horrible.
Oh, my God.
She was there.
She went outside.
She was out walking
with
on
the
that.
dog.
Yep. And
was it with the dog?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she just goes over.
Yeah, because...
Was this in the middle of the night?
It was, we'll say, early morning.
Early morning? And then all of a sudden, she's just gone.
Because even when we were there, the wind was so gosh awful, you're holding on to stuff. Well, imagine, no real sidewalks, no real fences, nothing.
No handrails, nothing.
Yeah.
And what year was this?
I couldn't tell you.
Do they know? I mean, did they say? I can't remember.
They didn't say.
And then he
late.
realizes his wife's gone. The dog's still there.
Yep. And then people are talking about you all these years.
That he killed her or committed suicide.
Because, you're there in this location. You can't just hop into your car to go to town. You can't just turn on the TV and the radio. So it's just the two of you and the noise of the ocean.
Constant.
And the salt.
Constant.
And so, she was
crashing.
Up and down, and, she had a lot of emotions. And just because you have a lot of feelings and emotions, she's in tears right now. That doesn't mean she's going to end it.
Yeah.
No.
And this lady just was up and down. And, sorry about this, but sometimes men don't always handle feelings of anybody in general because it just is harder for them.
Yeah.
Well, and back in couple hundred years ago, men didn't understand
and this was
all that. They weren't as evolved as men are today.
And this was either late 1800s, early 1900s. We still didn't have anything for these people to have done.
Yeah.
And so she journaled and put her feelings down and this and that. But I saw this and it's like, that's just like, whoa. And Corey's like, what? And I'm like, she was blown over by the wind. And he's like, are you serious? I mean, apparently I was the first person to ever say this. I don't know. I'm not going to guarantee that, but he looked completely shocked. I'm like, this wife was blown over. And he goes, do you know the rumors? And I'm like, no, what rumors? And so he told me.
Which are?
Which were that, she had committed suicide and she was depressed and this and that. And, you've got he did it and, the typical crap from human beings. And so we decided to leave and we went and spent some time in the lighthouse keeper's quarters.
Mm-hmm. What was that like for you?
I walked in and walked directly over to the window. And I said to him, she spent a lot of time here. And I said, I'm not sure, but I think there's a window upstairs that she used to look at. And he goes, well, let's go upstairs. So we went upstairs, and sure enough, there was a window. I mean, I literally saw her looking at this window, and then I felt her looking at this window, and you could feel the sadness. It's like, I'm so lonely. He doesn't always want to talk to me. It's like, but there wasn't anger. She wasn't angry. So he and I sat and talked for a while and stuff, and then we went outside because they said, we did my interview with Zach in the dining room,
Mhm.
and they had to cover the outside with plastic to keep the sun from coming in. You know, and so Zach had asked me many different questions, and he touched on, well, you know, this and this and this, and I'm like, I do now. I hadn't known any of that stuff, you know, and so we went outside. He's like he did with June, you know, is there anything here that's going to hurt my team? Because they're all very careful with each other. They want to make sure that each other is taken care of. And I'm like, no, I said, he's frustrated and he's angry, but, you know, I mean, it's nothing, you know, he's not going to kill anyone.
Yeah.
And so we went outside. Because at first we were going to go back down to the lighthouse. I'm like, great, this is number 10 trudging down the hill. And so they turned the cameras off. And as we're going out, he and I are talking. And I'm like, I'm so glad to get out of here. And he goes like, what's wrong? And I said, when I am around angry, negative spirits and different things like this, and he wasn't a negative, but he was unhappy.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I feel like my head's in a vice being squeezed. And I said, so it's kind of nice to get out of here. And so we're talking and walking, and all of a sudden we both got shoved. No cameras were on. None. And he grabbed me and stopped me from falling. He's like, what the hell, you know? What was that? And I said, he's frustrated. He's done. He doesn't want to be here. You know, it's like somebody let me go. You know, well, little did we know, they turned the cameras back on. So, you know, there's some great video footage of me looking really not with it. And he sent poor Aaron back inside. And before the cameras were on is when he sent him. Aaron's eyes get as big as plates, and he's like, dude. And I'm thinking, I'll go back in. Give me the Ovilus. I'll go in, you know. And so Zach and I are walking, and all of a sudden we hear him, dude, I got something. Well, Zach hadn't told him of our conversation outside, and he goes, what'd you get, male or female? He goes, I got a male voice. And he just kind of looked at me. You know, and so there are all kinds of different verifications of the whole thing. And Zach goes, my back hurts. And I'm like, yeah. I said, of course your back hurts. You know, they're going to focus on this. You know, I said, you need to take better care of your back. And you know you do. And he just kind of looked at me and goes, how do you know that? And I just looked at him like, really? He goes, I just kind of had some minor back surgery. I'm like, yeah, you know. You know, I mean, it really kind of got to him.
He had a fusion. He had a fusion.
And he's like, he was having a hard time walking even before he told me. And I'm like, yeah, you can see that he's having a hard time there, you know. And he wasn't complaining or anything. He didn't do the, ooh, poor little me thing. It's like, why does this happen? And it's funny because she told him, I told him, I'm sure 50 other people have told him, they concentrate on your weaknesses.
I told him the same thing.
Yeah.
Right now, that's your weakness. This little area right here. I said, you got to take more time off. Yeah, you've got to take time off. You've got to take better care of yourself.
Well, and one thing that I did not mention in the part one is that before we left the Commodore, is that I brought one of the salt necklaces that I made for.
And I salt ones,
one of the, and I forgot that I'd had it. Well, on the way to Astoria, or on the way to the interview, I was digging through my purse and I found it. I didn't realize it was in there. And I'm like, oh, yay, woohoo! So, I mean, we stopped for a second and I dug it out, and Aaron didn't know that I was going to give it to him. And I said, I have something for you. And of course, we're off camera, but I said, he goes, what is it? And I said, our friend June makes this black salt. And I said, and I put it in a little poison jar with a cork and put it on a necklace, on a cord. And I said, you're going to need this.
And he very graciously accepted it.
That's what I loved. You mean Zach?
Zach.
Yes.
Yeah. And I said, bend down here, because I'm not very tall. And so he bent down and I put it around his neck. And when he went down to the basement, he was wearing it. Now, I don't think he was wearing it during the investigation.
No, he wasn't.
No, but he wore it down to the basement with you.
And I loved watching the fact that you guys prayed with him.
Yes.
And again, he was very gracious in that prayer, accepting that.
I think that was the first time we have ever seen him pray.
Wait, Heather, hasn't Zach
He's
prayed
been
with
into
other people
church.
before?
I mean,
Yeah.
but prayed on,
Yeah.
on camera, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has.
She's watched it almost since day one.
There was
so.
I don't
one.
know if it was him initiating.
There was one back
Yeah.
east when he was back east.
Yeah, but it's
But
still
he
very
does
gracious.
it, but he doesn't do it
normally.
often.
No.
Doesn't do it often. Doesn't allow it to be
part of his,
part of his interview process or anything.
and
so
that's so important. That's
you
part of
gotta
our stuff.
protect your team.
How many times have we stood around and either held hands in a circle?
It's
or
got to be done.
We do it.
Every time, because you've got to have, whether you've got a team of 5 or 15, you've got to add the one more, the
The
big,
main one.
the big guy upstairs.
He's got to lead and follow.
He's got to lead, and he's got to have your back.
That's right.
You know, you can't go into something dangerous without having God is your lead man, and God is your tail man.
And there, too many people go, do you really believe that? Yeah, I am, because he is. Hello?
Yeah.
We could not do it. We do. And almost every time we do something, we discuss this.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't care who I am inside. Without him, I'm nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. And, there's been a lot of stuff that has happened to all of us.
Yeah.
And I am not a super religious, preachy, and I will never shove religion down somebody's throat.
But faith is different than religion.
But at the end of the day,
yep,
I know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I know where I've been.
And you know who's got your back.
Exactly.
I don't need 4 walls and another human being as flawed as me to tell me what is.
Exactly.
Because the Bible says where 2 or more are gathered, I will be there. Well, guess what? There's 4 of us sitting right here.
That's right.
Yep.
5, 6. We've got our own little thing going on.
That's right.
When I tried to give Aaron his, because God told me, says, I want you to take this necklace down, and I want you to I want you to give it to Aaron.
The other Aaron.
Yeah, the other Aaron.
Not our Aaron.
The Ghost Adventures Aaron. And I'm like, okay, but they won't accept anything. I said, they don't take things from people. And then, so when Aaron finally came up, and I said, God wanted me to give this to you. And he says, no, I can't take it. And I could see the negatives that were attached.
Yeah, and that's the one that got me and
we were
hurt my neck.
They were standing beside him.
Yep.
And it's like, he says, I don't believe in God. I said, well, that's funny. He believes in you. I said, and so does Satan.
Yep. And the thing about this field is usually you will end up with one of 2 feelings and or reactions in the long run. You will either be stronger of faith,
right,
or it will have affected you so much because of the negativity and you have not tapped into the correct faith that you will end up in that boat where you no longer believe.
Aaron's had a rough time
He has,
with that.
and he's a
he
nice
lost his
guy.
wife, him and his wife split because of what they do and stuff like that, and the negativity. So, I can understand him.
He was a Christian when he started the show.
I know. But I can understand him having doubts now, because of the whole thing there. But, like I told him, the first thing Zach asked me was, when we go down there,
is there anything
that can harm my people? I said, yeah.
Well, that's why we're having this conversation.
I said, there's an old demon down there. I said, he knew you were coming before you knew you were coming. And I said, he has a message for you. And I told him,
demons out.
So we went downstairs, we're going to go inside. And so we go inside, and of course they make me go down first. I was like, yeah, thank you, ladies.
Demon seer.
Okay.
It's a strong one.
So I get down there, and he's like, he's like, well, where is it? And I'm telling him.
It's here, there, and everywhere.
I told him before we even went down, I said, listen, people do not want to see what I see. I said, because I see negatives in their true form. And so we get down there, and he's like, well, what do you see? And I said, well, it's over there in the corner, and it's chained up. I said, it's not going anywhere right now because I have it in the corner. It's not going anywhere. And he's like, I want to see what you see. I said, no, you don't want to see what I see. You don't want to see it. He's like, oh, yes, I do. I said, okay, hold my hand. He held my hand, and it's like he had that half glove thing on, so our
his
fingers were
fingerless
touching.
Fingerless gloves, yeah.
Yeah, so I told him, I pulled my vision and put it in him, and he said at first, what you don't see on the video, on the show is, he said at first it felt calming and white and peaceful. He said, and then the curtain came down, and he says, I saw it. He said, I saw what you saw. And that's when he pulled his hand out, because the electrical charge,
he jumped back.
because the electrical charge that went through him from that vision freaked him out. And then, of course, it went through to his back, attacked his back, his spine.
Boy, he was so rummy. That was crazy watching that.
Yeah.
Remember, he was just all
And
not with
after that, it was like we went into other parts of the basement that we hadn't gone when we were there in January. And I told him, I said, there's a lesser demon back here. I said, there's a couple of little creepy crawly guys hanging out. That's what they sent.
onions?
Yeah, a couple of the onions. They sent poor Aaron back there. And there was this area that was closed off on the side with boards, and you could, he's skinny, so he could make it through. There's a couple of boards missing. So he says, dude, don't come through here. He says, it feels horrible. It feels weird. It's dark.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, that's because the lesser demon back there. What do you want? So we went back the other side, and he was like, I told him, I said, listen, I got to take my sight from you. I said, because, you can't go around seeing what I see and hear what I hear. It's not good for you.
He didn't want you to.
And at the time, the time he didn't want me to take it.
Remember, we were upstairs and we're all like, come on, dude, you don't want to do this.
And I told Billy, I said, Billy Tolley, I told him, I said, he needs to have me take that from him, because he can't, go around seeing what I see and hearing what I hear. And he says, and then just then after I said that, and it's like, Billy's like, oh my God, that hurts so bad. And I'm like, what? He says, or this high pitched frequency in my left ear. And I said, well, so that's how you people who can't hear what I hear, hear a demon talking to you. Because when we first went down there, he's like, Billy's my camera guy, and he's like, we're over there towards the corner, and he's like, what is that? Because he heard the growl. I'm like, oh, nothing, just a demon. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's fine.
He gets moves,
it's all good.
And he moves closer to me, like, okay. He's so funny. I like him.
Billy's just what I loved was what they left in there, where Billy's like flat out, hey, she told you.
He said that thing where, like, I don't think she knows what she's dealing with, and I'm thinking to myself,
no, you don't.
You don't know. You haven't a clue as to what I can see and what I do.
I don't see what she sees. I see what I see, and they're annoying, obnoxious, foul, rude little things. And you don't see what I see, but you see the reactions that we have.
Oh, yeah.
But
and I don't see what any of you see, thank God, but I feel it.
Yeah.
And how I feel it is I get the pit in my stomach.
Yeah.
I feel like my stomach has just dropped to my feet, and then it's in my throat.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, ugh.
They like to screech and scream.
They're not nice.
No, and I'm so thankful that I don't see, because I see other stuff.
Yeah.
I see shadows. I see white things. I see people walking by that ain't there. I see stuff move, and that's okay. But the minute I see a full,
Hey, you should have stood next to me in my kitchen the time that I had half somebody appear from the ground up. I'm talking to Christopher and a friend of his, and I'm like, all of a sudden from the floor up and gone was like the left side of a person, but it was dark.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, up, gone. And I looked at Christopher, I'm like, did you see that? Because
I had to play whack-a-mole.
Yeah. Because all my kids
Whack-a-spirit.
have different gifts. Heather is an empath. Christopher is an empath and a psychic, and his little 6-year-old daughter is full bore. Oh my gosh. Austin is a sensitive, and Eric is finding out that he's got those things too. So figured Christopher saw that, and he's like, nope, missed that one. Good job.
But the Nordblatt it's just, people don't understand. When I go in there and they're telling me, don't take anything out. Don't remove anything before we do our investigation.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's see. I'll take out the old demon. and they'll leave the lesser demon and the squigglies behind to play with you.
The squigglies, the onions.
We'll let them play with the onions. But
and those are bad enough.
Yeah.
Were they sautéed or raw?
Raw.
Okay.
They are very raw. Let me tell you.
Okay.
They will tell you what they think of you.
But
Okay.
this old one, I told him.
I just had to know.
Zach goes, I said, this
I
guy
saute.
knows that you're coming. I said, he came here specifically to tell you, to tell you something. He said, well, what does he want to tell me? I said, he wants to tell you that he is here. They are real. And he can kill you in a heartbeat. I said, and he will, too. I said, the only thing that's stopping him, I said, is me. I said, this is your warning. And he didn't like what I had to say, but it's like, I'm just telling you what he's saying to me.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Yeah.
I remember
you
when
could
you
hear it.
Yeah.
I'd tell you.
I remember when you came back up and we're all up there.
And then Zach ran out.
Well, I'm standing on the thing. I wish I'd had my phone ready, but they left that in there showing him exiting. I mean, it's very overwhelming.
And he did say in the episode that he left his crew behind.
Yeah. He did.
I mean,
he got in the car and
he's like, I
poor
had to
Aaron was
exit.
running after.
But then he called and said, okay, I need her to
I mean, it freaked
take
him
that
out.
away
He's
from
like,
me.
I don't know what that woman did. And Billy's like, whoa, time out. She warned you,
Yeah.
But we were upstairs, all of us talking, and Corey was there, and I can't remember the other gentleman's name, but there's another line producer there. And we're all like, what was he thinking? It needs to be gone. And then I think Billy came up. He wants you to come down. Somebody came up and said,
Corey came up.
No, Corey was already there. He never went. He does not go in the basement.
No. But I'm talking about when I was upstairs and we were getting ready to leave, and he came up.
It was Jeff.
Okay.
It was Jeff. Jeff Belanger.
Okay. He says he wants you to take it away from him now.
And we're like, it didn't take long. And I remember looking at Corey going, don't go in the basement. Never go in the basement. Because there are some people that are okay to go into basements.
There are some people that if you tell them that the stove is hot, they're going to believe you. But there are some people that it's hot.
Okay.
They're going to lay their hand on it. Yeah.
Just because they have to know.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's just not. It's not for everybody. And I told him, you don't want to see what I see. I see evil in its pure form. And I'm just used to that. I've been seeing it since I was a kid.
We were all beat. All of us were beat.
And
wiped out.
And what people don't know is I just had cancer surgery.
Yep, and so I was her chauffeurette, and we had to have dinner together to try and just
decompress.
Yeah, we needed, and we stood outside in a parking lot and prayed together.
Yes, we couldn't. I don't know what happened during that time that we were praying, and
we were trying to cut the cord.
You guys had to hold me up.
Yeah,
we were trying to cut the cord.
Yeah, because it was so strong. And remember, I had that nastiness. I had that 3-hour drive, and I'm like, oh man, this is killing my neck, because that thing that was standing behind Aaron looked right at me and it was like he grabbed my neck and just ripped it in half. Where those ruptured discs in my neck are.
Well, and then on top of all the negativity that happened with me and my family, because of what happened to me the night before the interview, a great close friend of mine and my wife's brother died mysteriously. And that was the night before the interview.
And we found out about that the day
of the interview.
At dinner.
We were with you.
Yeah. You were sitting right next. Yeah. That's right. Well, and then I lost Donna, 2 days before my thing. So it's like, and then she was dealing with her thing. So it's like they are doing their best to stop the work that we're trying to do, and it ain't gonna happen.
It was like it's like we were being corralled with just negativity. It was like all this negativity was like trying to corral our families and our friends and our world.
I was contacted by one of the residents at the Norblad after filming, and he told me that he shares an apartment there with his mother. He told me
that was the kid that we were talking to.
Yeah. Well, he said that the night that Ghost Adventures did their investigation, which was the night after our interviews, he went down to the kitchen. He had his earbuds on. He was listening to some music. He went to the kitchen around midnight to grab a bite to eat, and all of a sudden he heard and felt the rumble of a very low, intense growl. And he said it scared the living hell out of him. He said, I've never heard anything like this before, and he's lived there for a long time. And then he said that his mother experiences a lot of paranormal activity, but it's not negative.
Yeah.
But
There's
that
a
was the one
difference,
and
yeah.
only thing that happened, and that was the night of the investigation.
It's because I left the minor. I left the lesser demon down
And see,
there.
she and I need to get. We don't need to. We want to go back because when I was
That's
there,
exactly what I wanted.
I promised my lighthouse keeper that we would cross him.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was so upset.
I'd
I
love to go
left
out
him
there.
there.
I've never been there.
Yeah.
I left him there so that they could do their thing, and that broke my heart.
Yeah,
I mean, it
I'm
almost
sure.
makes me cry. And we could do it from a distance. I don't want to.
You want to go
I
there
owe
and do it
him the
there, yeah.
respect. I promised him. It's been too long already.
Let's go.
It would be honorable.
It
Yeah.
is.
It would be honorable. We need to honor him.
That man went through more than enough hell dealing with the
It's
situation
time
he
to go
dealt with,
home.
and his wife is waiting for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
His dog misses him. June of all people understands that one.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to honor him, and it's time to honor his wife, and it's time to lay the rumors to rest.
Yep.
And it's time to pass him.
And I
pass him
plan
on.
on taking roses.
Yes.
No, not roses. No, they don't want roses.
No.
They like a different flower.
Lily?
No. Daisy or something that looks
Yeah,
like a
the
daisy.
big one. The
Yeah,
big one.
The big one. I can't.
Mhm.
So
Black-eyed Susans. Is that what
No,
they're called?
they're like
don't
them,
remember.
but we need to take those, and I want to take those, and I want to lay it at the door.
Road trip.
Road trip.
We got to go. Ready,
Yeah.
Boo? Ready for a road trip to the lighthouse?
Wake up.
She's like,
So-
"Oh, what?"
Is it that time? Are we done? Do we have more to tell everybody in the world?
We have a little bit of time.
Sweet.
left.
Is there anything that you didn't get to tell us?
No. But I would like to say, would I do this again? Hell yes. Would you do this again?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We do. I do.
Yes.
I think
Anytime.
I think bottom line is I didn't appear on the show to convince people that there are demons.
Right.
What I experienced is what I experienced. What I know is what I know. Yeah. It's for the public to decide for themselves. I don't wish this upon anyone else.
No.
Don't get me wrong.
No.
There are haters.
Oh yeah.
There are disbelievers, and that's
Well,
fine.
That's human nature.
It's human nature.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
We can either agree to disagree
Exactly.
or whatever. Everybody is entitled to their own opinion and their own outlook on things.
Exactly.
We don't call anybody liars. We don't
No.
call anybody storytellers.
Nope.
We don't call anybody a fake.
We don't know who sees what in what way. Or
Exactly.
hears it or
Exactly.
Until they walk in my shoes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Tell me about it.
Exactly.
I'm the one they come to when they need help
Exactly.
with something they
And
do.
that's
Exactly.
a heavy burden. I
Yeah.
don't care who you are.
Exactly.
I don't care who backs you up. Living in this human body and going and doing these things, it's sometimes very difficult.
Exactly.
If you're going to seek out a psychic medium or a paranormal team, do your
Yeah.
research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't just pick anybody.
Just because
Yeah,
they're
Make
the top of
sure
the
you
list.
know
Doesn't
Exactly.
mean anything.
And
Yeah.
if they charge you, you better run.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they're
It's not
charging for their
reputable.
services, that is not,
We're not okay.
reputable. Yes,
no, that's
exactly.
not okay.
That
We're
is
not okay with that. That
So-
doesn't mean come to us. We're
No,
not promoting our. Well, yeah. We
Well,
always
yeah, if
promote
you want
ourselves,
our
but-
help, you're here in the
Yes.
Northwest, then contact us. We'll
Right.
be more than
But
happy to help
find
you.
someone that cares about you, your story, your situation, your family, and wants the best for you. Not has their hand out saying, "Here, pay me to help you."
Exactly.
Yep.
Because who says they're really going to help them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, Aaron, let the people know where they can contact you if they need help.
You can get a hold of NW Paranormal Investigative Team on our website. It's nwparanormal.net, or you can go to Facebook, NW Paranormal on Facebook. You can find me, Aaron Collins, on Facebook as well. We also have a show called Paranormal Crossings.
And you're on
which you can get
Instagram too.
Yes, I'm on Instagram, Aaron Collins, Instagram, and also Twitter, and gosh, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, you can get a hold of me on any of those resources.
And if you need help with a negative issue, you can contact me through demonseer.com.
You can contact
And you can
us.
contact Ghosts and Girls Paranormal at Ghosts and Girls Paranormal on Facebook.
And Instagram.
And Instagram.
And you monitor
and
Twitter. Twitter? Yeah,
Twitter.
I do
Twitter.
Instagram and she does Twitter.
And just send us a message and we'll respond as soon as we can. Just let us know a little bit about what's going on and we'll get back to you, and a phone number, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having us on
Thank you for coming on our show and experience and tell us about your experiences on Ghost Adventures. And I have to say that they're very nice people.
They were great.
And they're very professional.
Very kind.
And very caring.
Goodness. Yeah, very kind, very...
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, we can't say enough.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys from Ghost Adventures, all of you.
Yeah, I mean, people want to sit there and go, ego, whatever. I didn't see a single cotton picking ego. They were very polite when I was around.
All the old stuff from the early years, they've grown up a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. They'll even sit there and go, I'm not in my 20s anymore. Well, none of us are.
None of us are.
That's right.
We all grew up.
Older and wiser.
Oh, the one thing I did say, Zach did say it. I warned him. I said, don't be provoking.
Yeah.
That is never
good.
Oh,
I don't do that anymore. What does he do? Provoke.
And I'm going to say,
it's like,
and June said last week, and we're going to probably revisit this almost every episode of this, do not call things at yourselves. Take things. Don't go to EVPs, EMFs. You don't know what you're doing. What you could be doing is opening a whole bunch of hell in your life. And then you end up having to call people like us to try and help you. And that's not an ego trip. It's just saying, don't do this to yourself. If you have questions, email us or call us or something.
Don't forget, if you read tarot cards, any kind of cards, if you do scrying, if you do a Ouija board, whatever you do, seance, make sure that you ask for God's blessing or whoever you believe in, higher self, to on the communication. And then when you're through, thank them and ask them to close the portal, because every time you do these sort of things, it opens a portal. Yep. And you don't want anything negative coming to visit you at night.
I've had in my own house before I ever moved in June, had to close it. It hasn't come back.
And it better not.
We've had one at our home too, and it's if you don't know what you're doing, then don't.
And it wasn't opened by us, by the way.
Nope.
For sure.
All right.
Well, thank you for
having us.
Thanks for being on the show.
Come and play with us anytime.
Come and see us.
All right.
And listen to us next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Heather, can you say have a great week?
Pacific Standard Time.
Have a great week. Thank you.
The dark side is always there, waiting for us to enter us. Until next time, try to enjoy the daylight.